Mm-hmm. So what does it tell me there? Mm-hmm. That's so messed up. I can totally see it on delay on the laptop. Yeah, this is not. I'm not actually streaming anything. We got mobile got turned on. So this potentially is. I'm gonna have to see what it looks like. Interesting. So I'm using the rear-facing camera, and then I'm actually streaming it on. Oh yeah, I'm using the stupid AirPods. I don't have a mic. Um, but that's interesting because I don't know how to change that on the phone through the app. Would that be the volume button? That's super weird. I'm gonna have to figure it out because then I'll have to buy a freaking Bluetooth mic. Like, everybody pre-gaming? What's up? The video looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it's I can't deal. Mac will not put a good camera on a laptop. Um, it's just so dumb. It's like the same 720p FaceTime camera that's been on Macs for I don't even know how long. So yeah, if I can get, I mean, people tell me that the AirPods are totally fine for audio streaming. I mean, again, I don't need to be getting into. I could get, but they're like $300. Like a good lav mic is stupid. Um, but I'm gonna go back and listen to this and see you know what it comes out like. But I can tell the stupid software algorithms running like from the iPhone because like my face looks completely like it looks like a colorized movie. It's so bad. Well, this is only an iPhone 11. This is not only, but it's an iPhone 11. It's not a Pro. But the rear-facing camera, obviously, it's got a little bit of fisheye. But I mean, and I'm streaming this while I'm watching the stream, which is the only way I can adjust the camera. And then, theoretically, I would shut it down because this is all over Wi-Fi. Um, I think I figured out, by the way, why the networking was screwing up. It's actually my fault on the last one. I didn't realize I had attached one of the Wi-Fi mesh things to a light switch that was for turning off lights, and it was off. So I only had two of the mesh routers going, which actually, considering it even worked at all, is pretty funny. So Google Wi-Fi mesh is no joke. Um, I had to get it because tons of kids. I think we have like 28 Wi-Fi devices in the house at this point with their school laptops and stuff. It's ridiculous. Um, so yeah, I'm interested to see how this turns out and see if it's because this way it's not a complete pain in the ass to do this. Like the reason it was pretty repeatable early on during the initial lockdown is it was cold and rainy the whole month of March and most of April. So no one was doing anything. It was still novel for the kids not having to go to school and shit. So like I'd just go in the basement for an hour and a half, and that's a very controlled environment. I had some lighting and stuff anyway. Um, for camera work, like just really cheap, knockoff industrially made. Yeah, exactly. There's a reason I wanted to do this, dude. Like, I mean, I have like a 2016 MacBook that like I bought used, but the camera that's on current MacBooks is still the same, which is so dumb. But this is a good way to test if I can keep a DL running as a monitor for the video, but I don't know that I need to. Like, this is pretty reasonable. That's why they have a little bit of fisheye on it. Like, if I move back and whatever, like, it's totally fine. The fisheye is kind of annoying. I like a little tighter, but you know, we'll see. It's interesting for sure. I mean, I can bring it in a little bit. Oh, that's so wow. It still persists. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I didn't. This isn't. I'm not. This is a getting used to what works and what doesn't for this. I'm gonna play it back, and check out the audio and shit. And I still think whatever Apple has that's post affecting on the face is so annoying. I mean, I don't know if it's because of how I'm watching it through Chrome on a MacBook or what, but that has a Retina screen and it totally looks like a colorized fucking TBS movie. It's so weird. Um, Even the shitty MacBook FaceTime cam, doesn't look this bad. Hey, audio is a 7.4. Ooh, I got tranched. Yeah, I mean, I could look into it. I'm sure there's some like $80 whatever Bluetooth lav mic I could get. I'll Amazon Prime that shit. I definitely want it to sound good. I mean, it's this has all been about figuring out how to reasonably do this. um, in a way that's whatever. I don't know. It's like since I did the last stream, like I got in touch with a whole bunch of people I haven't talked to in a while, and like I just didn't even know what was going on out there, um, in terms of media, in terms of music, whatever, landscape, and everything, and it is weird because we're all in bubbles, right? And I didn't. It's really hard to understand how dramatically things have changed potentially for a lot of other people. So there's this big problem with the ability to even like develop perspective, even if you're, um, you know, in touch with people. There's just, things are not the same for most people. And I'm really fortunate that so far, they're relatively stable for me and for my family. So, um, the streaming thing is fine, whatever. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to become like a live streamer. This is, niche music nerd world. That's all I'm going to do. Um, but it is weird. Someone asked me on the comments, because now we have a community section, which is just basically a thread. But I certainly prefer that to having to go back on Twitter. Fuck that. Um, because like again, it's such a clown show at this point. But uh I'm so yeah, somebody sent me asked me on the community slice about this the Wiz Khalifa hot wings thing, the hot mix thing. And it was really crazy. I got the pop-up in my notices that I got the comment about it while I was reading it on Vulture. This girl, Twitter, Fantano's Twitter is Chapoified. Everything is Chapoified or Red Scarified or like, Joe Roganified. It's super fucked up how quickly Joe Rogan got normalized and like all these fucking, it's just this. I mean, again, I've told you guys probably a million times, this was my thesis in school, was the self-selection of information sources as a destabilizing contribution to democracy. Like that's melodramatic, but that was the first thing I thought when the internet came out. It's like, oh man, because I went to like some early web board and it like everyone on it was, in my perception, totally insane. The things they believed and were, whatever. Um, and so you're seeing this now start to become a real thing because not everybody didn't even really have the internet. Nobody was even using the internet, I want to say, casually, until, and I mean, this is my experience living through it, and I was in New York working in New York City media when it was happening. 2007 was that's when it turned the corner, and like Time magazine was writing about Pitchfork, and like big shit was happening, and Mark Geiger came in and became a silent partner in Pitchfork with WME artist management, and like that, no, until then everybody was looking down on it, and I've gone into this before, but like it was really ghettoized until that point, and then it became rapidly mainstream, and then it was like, fuck it, even though we can't tell what anyone's doing, we just got to throw money at this shit until we figure out the math. And now they've sort of figured out the math. So yeah, I mean, seeing crap, like, I don't want to say crap pejoratively, friends of friends are friends with some of the chat people, and um, look, I think that conversational sort of the Red Scare, the one liner from Red Scare that I thought was so hilarious and really accurate. I think maybe it was even Dasha who said it was like, um, a lot of the stuff you hear and the hysteria is like bougie eschatology, and it sort of is. And the tone, the sort of like, straight talking, you know, um, on PC, like Jesus, man, you don't know how many times that's been marketed. Every generation does this. Gen X did it, oh my God, the talk shows now, Dennis Miller, everything. Like every generation has its, like, you know, sort of, it encroaches on the mores of the previous generation. George Carlin, Abby Hoffman, like what the fuck? This is so basic. Um, and that's what's happening and been happening for years. I mean, yeah, I used to tweet at Dasha all the time back when she was in the Lowell Boys video. I don't know her at all. I've never spoken to her. I'm not suggesting that, but like she was just like a music orbital person, Twitter person for a long time. Um, that's how I knew of her. And she was doing like stoner vines, like trying to be a Vine memer back then. I don't know, whatever. I don't know this person, but my point being, she was in Jerome Lowell's video, and I was a huge fan of his, and like just was a big fan of his. I was at, just coming off Pitchfork and stuff, and I was like way bigger, persona in this world at that time. That was right before things started to get shitty, honestly. Like up until about 2013, it was great. It was fun. Like you could do the things I was doing and say the things I was saying. And then all of a sudden, like, identity politics and you can't be mean to anybody, um, just got so overwhelming that like, and then not even a year and a half after that, it got literally insane. Like right around the time I quit everything, that's when this shit happened with like Mitski and everything. And even like psychos were doing shit to me just because like they're, fucking, shit posters. Like in their mind, it's not a big deal. They're just shit posting. Right. But, it for sure got totally, I hate the word toxic. It's like the word creep or creepy. Like there's such shitty bullshit cop out words to disengage with and not engage with people. But it truly has, and for a few years now, I'd say at 2017 is where it like literally became just unsustainably disgusting, like just horrific. Like people with nothing, no shame, just shameless people willing to do and say anything just to like, neck crane in on shit. And I just, it's so needless at this point. So, the live streaming thing was always interesting to me. This is always the way I wanted to do it, because I'm not gonna lie, it's sort of a flex in a way. Like people used to think all the time that my DSLR videos from like 8 years ago were like super, like I'm reading a script and I wrote them, and like no. I mean, people who know me know like I've sent the unedited stuff to people for fun, and it used to be on a torrent that went around. Like I literally would talk for 2 memory card sessions just nonstop on a topic. And like, yeah, I'd have a couple of ideas in mind, but like, um, this is something that like is, I'm old enough that I have enough, still kicking around upstairs that I can just like whatever about a number of things. Right. And so that's starting to become a thing. And I'm surprised it took so long, but I think the technology just was brutal for doing this in a way that was at par. It's like when podcasts first came out, right? You had RSS feeds. This is like 2006. Podcasts were in the news. I don't know if people realize this, but um, you know, they've been around forever, and it's like every 5 years they're the new shit. But it's because of new distribution channels and methods and improvements in technology, compression, bandwidth consumption, all this shit. Um, it gets us to a point where now like I can throw an iPhone in a vice grip in front of me and just use AirPods for a mic, and it's like not even that bad. So that's no effort, no cost incurred really. I have a battery pack plugged into the phone because I doubt it's going to make it, but like this is all getting easier, right? And so that's a way of exposing, much like face for radio, when TV happened. Now it's sort of like, okay, are you one of these like, iMovie heroes? Because now it feels like we've got iMovie heroes who are like, spending all their time writing scripts and doing all their editing and shit and uploading these airtight 15-minute videos. And I mean, I'm way early on saying this, but like that's going to start to become sort of derided, and it's going to feel lame, even though these people are making no money in most cases, and it's not like they're backed by BuzzFeed or fucking whatever Tri Channel. Um, it's gonna feel different quick, and people who are able to do things conversationally like this, and who are able to live stream and have the whatever the I'm not trying. I mean, it is a little bit of a flex. Anthony's pivoting to it. I said that when I started the community channel, Fantano. Twitch signed him up, and I think Twitch unfortunately branded itself so heavy toward gaming when it launched that it's going to have trouble pivoting to being a general content warehouse. But bottom line is, short of establishing yourself as an internet persona, which let's be honest, that's not going to happen for me. It's not my intention. Obviously, Anthony earned that, and so my point being, you got to get like big enough to get a sponsorship or co-brand deal with a YouTube TV, YouTube, or a Twitch or whatever. There's no way to monetize this. There's no way to monetize live streaming. It'll never happen. I mean, you could sign up. I could sign up for the ad program for Google AdSense and like get like ads injected into this. But like, think about it. What's my ideal? What's the most likely scale of anything I would do? Right. The biggest videos I ever had, even back when, we're talking 50K views. Like that's like sweet spotty for total music door content. So if you just do the math, that's one of the reasons that it's like not worth investing in all the time it takes to do this for me, to a point. I mean, I enjoy it, and it's fun, and like, it is cool that however old you are, wherever you're at in your musical journey or whatever, like, I'm generally speaking, the feedback I constantly get is like no one else approaches this way, or live through it, because now I'm in my 40s, so this is almost like just telling stories that aren't getting told the right way. It's funny too. I did the Jawbreaker pop punk one, and then Zach Lipez wrote a tiny letter. I don't know which one he uses, but Substack. Sorry, he wrote a thing about his memory of like. I'm not saying he even necessarily watched my live stream. It'd be that I think there was an anniversary reissue of Dear You. I didn't even know that because I don't pay attention to shit anymore. I think that's what urged him to. But it was funny that they both happened around the same time, because it was all of a sudden it was like it's Jawbreaker hours and everyone was getting their Jawbreaker stories out there. And that's important, because I can tell you the people who are running the websites and music culture shit out there, it's like anything else, right? The people who have time and can afford to not make any money and just get off on the fact that they're getting better as a writer, they're learning more, they're getting their name out there, that whole thing. You don't care about money because that's so empowering. It's such a classic thing in your 20s, like putting yourself out there in the world and seeing it reflected back to you. That's your payoff, and you don't give a shit about making money. So that's why the internet is run by 20 somethings. And that's why it also gradually starts to feel extremely remote to someone my age. And so watching all this happen, going in circles for 20 minutes here, and seeing the next generation, the next iteration of podcasting and, potentially live streaming and hangouts, hangout culture, and the pandemic only making this so much more dramatic and obvious. Um, there's something fomenting here that's really interesting to me, and the absolute turn from like stoner whatever off kilter thing that Rogan was, hundreds and hundreds of podcasts and YouTube streams, right? Now it's like people are trying to get him to moderate the presidential debate. Like, what the fuck? And Red Scare makes 35K a month on Patreon. Yeah, I mean, that is so hot and cold, you don't know. I can tell you in a way that most people can't tell you what a bad idea it is to get stars in your eyes about numbers like that. Because at best, you're going to be on a 3-year rip, and then you're going to have to figure out a way to pivot into some other kind of media thing. And all the while, you're making yourself a target for cancel culture and psychos and whatever. I mean, I can't imagine what um, the women doing Red Scare have been dealing with or have dealt with most of their lives. Like, yeah, it's really not a good idea. It's a truism that you still want to develop a skill, and a skill that people need to pay you money for. That's the long tail. That's the long con. You know, getting internet famous. I will say, like, Chris Weingarten made a couple of good points about this, and I've mentioned it before, but that's going to happen to like 5 people. The odds are almost nil. You know what I mean? Like, uh, I mean, look, like I had some kind of name or whatever with certain sector of music fan or whatever that's still, you know, in its twilight days or whatever. You know, there's something there that once in a while you're gonna, whether it's Reddit, you know, 4chan or whatever, someone will mention something, and then someone will mention something I wrote or said, or one of my old videos or something. So like, there's a thing there. I have, you know, something of this intersect with this genre, right? So, but that it's like, it's been 20 years of being out here in various ways and at pretty, you know, big established publications. So like, can you name another Pitchfork writer? You know, I mean, I think you're going to get like a quick five, um, which is hilarious and funny and just indicative of what I'm talking about. You know, the personality aspect, like I was talking about, this change toward live streaming, the personality aspect of that is what's new. And this New York Times article about Fantano does mention something that I was yelling about in 2005 when I fell out of Pitchfork. One of the things that was a big argument, and I have repeated this, is that I wanted us to start making video content, and I thought it was the easiest thing in the world. There were tons of people at the site, not everybody, but there were people on the site who would have been good on camera. Um, you know, obviously myself included, a few others, and I was like, this is where we need to go, you know, pivot to video before pivot to video was a thing. And, you know, people were trying it. I remember Ryan Schreiber, Maura Johnston, and someone else got corralled in some horrible no budget, like, black box room to film some shit around one of the South bys, I think. And it was just horrible. Like, like he could not do live. He couldn't do on camera. He couldn't do off the cuff. And so as you get older and you look back on certain things you've done in certain ways you maybe resonated to however small of an audience, you realize, like, yeah, you've got some certain skills most people don't have. So the Red Scare, particularly, I think Red Scare is very good. I do think they share one negative trait with Chapo, which is that they're a little bit lazy. Um, I think that most of these people in the younger generation that have blown up in these podcasts and shit, they need to be taking it a lot more seriously, and they need to be, really, I mean, upping your game is such a stupid fucking phrase, but um, I think that they maybe, it's so easy when you start making that kind of money. Um, you know, you just can lean back and kind of watch it come in. And there's always going to be casuals that are going to come in and be like, you guys are the best. OMG. I can't believe, you know, I found someone with your voice, blah, blah, blah. And like, you can't let that shit make you lazy. You can't let it sustain you. You got to focus on the negative comments, the negative feedback, just as much, and balance it. And it's super hard to do that because, like, what was your dream in life? Writing your own ticket. You know, whether you're a writer, whether you're a performer, whether you're a podcast musician, whatever it is, your dream is like, oh shit, you know, I wrote my own ticket. Like, I'm Mac DeMarco, right? And I'm flying, I'm airborne. You know, where the fuck is Mac DeMarco now? You know, where's Father John Misty? Again, most of the people are like total financially independent rich kids who can afford to do this shit. Been through that a million times. Now you can't even say that because, like, you're getting into the psychosis of canceling anyone who has money, which is never what I was about. I was saying, if you're a journalist, maybe you shouldn't like dive headlong into saying Frankie Cosmos is the savior of indie rock. You know, maybe you shouldn't do that with Mitski because they have outsized resources. So it's sort of gross that they're getting immediate coronation in the New York Times by John Perellis. That's all I was saying. But like, within a year of saying things like that, it got totally fucked up. And complete fucking psychos were saying shit about these people that were so repulsive that I felt retroactively like shit for just suggesting that journalists could maybe be doing a little more homework and not being such scenester flakes, and, you know, empowering people that are already empowered by their financial resources. That's all I was saying. Um, but it just, you know, then Gawker wrote an article saying I was a misogynist because I felt that way. Like, it's just fucking crazy to me. I don't know. Because you guys wrote the articles about them. I didn't. I'm reacting to your reaction and your coronation of these things. I'm not like going out and going after people that aren't being thrown in my face by, you know, these venues that I think should have known a little bit better. Um, and so that's, you know, those are two things that I just, I was thinking about because I, again, having checked out, you know, I had tried to come back for a year. It was about a year and a half. Like I was back around late 2018. I think I reactivated the WEEDADMlN Twitter, and I was on it in 2019 for most of it. And we had the Discord. I mean, most of 2019 and the little beginning of 2020 was the Discord, and then it just, you know, none of it really works for me. And I think it stops working for me because I need the separation, which I should have, like rationally at my age. I shouldn't be directly interacting with like a younger generation that just wants to have fun and be a shit poster and fuck around like I did. You know, like unfortunately, you know, the internet's not aging. So the dumb shit I wrote and said and did when I was a, you know, ranting and raving stupid fucking 25, 26 year old is all mostly still out there, which sucks. But um I like the separation. It feels better. It feels appropriate, and it feels like kind of good. Because, you know, people will ping me with shit, and like I was saying about that article this morning, and they'll, you know, my kids are playing Fortnite, so I'm seeing, you know, BTS and Travis Scott and all these people premiering their music on Fortnite, and now Fortnite has radio stations in the cars, just like GTA, but live and updated all the time based on new marketing deals Epic Games is signing with the hot SoundCloud rappers, and, you know, they're doing emotes for rappers like what is it? What do they call Ayo and Teo from 3 years ago? Roly, roly, roly. They got two emotes in Fortnite, right? They probably made $250 million off sales of those emotes. Um, it's unfucking believable. When Renegade, I talked about this last time, like um, when Renegade, the TikTok viral thing, finally came around and ended up becoming an emote on Fortnite. Millions. You got parents paying $5 for a goddamn dance move in a video game, like every week, because it, you know, $5 and my kid's happy and my kid's, you know, quiet, or my kid earned it by being good. Um, dude, that's a whole world that's just not getting the right focus from anybody in music journalism. I mean, I tweet screen caps every time Fortnite has a new event or emote. I tweet the screen caps to the, like, you know, 4 or 5 heavies I'm still in touch with in the music industry. And every time they're just like, holy fucking shit, you know, like, my God, if I could make that much money off music. And it's like, you can't, dude. You can't, because it's not, you know, music is a platform for celebrity. It just became that. The internet made it worse. It was always that. But now it's, I'm not saying the music is, you know, totally worthless. It's not. It's great. I love these songs. They're fucking hilarious. You know, I love I love Lottery. It's a fucking fun song. It's almost like I think I said this in another video or one of the last streams. It's G-rated Chief Keef, right? That's like what people are doing now. So all the hardcore perp era shit, you know, like all that really fucking serious Chirac shit and everything now is like MC Hammerified, and, you know, everyone is super non-threatening and wearing, you know, fucking Instagram fits and being, what do they call them? Fit boys. What the fuck is the word? Anyway, you know, I mean, I see my kids doing this stuff. So that's an interesting bridge, having been a culture critic, seeing my kids, what they're doing, what they're consuming, what's being bombed at them. And then with the 20 somethings who are like my fan base, 30s too. I mean, and people my age who came up with me and still, you know, ride for me. But it's having this intersect as a parent, as sort of personality. And then as a survivor of this with people my generation that I still talk to, it's like I've got three different sort of tiers of insight. It's pretty cool. And it informs deeper, sort of, longer view responses to these things that you're certainly not going to hear from somebody who's like in the thick of it. Like if you're like 28 and you're watching this right now and you're reading, Vulture and Pitchfork and whatever else is out there, that's also being written by a 28-year-old. And like when I was going through that, that would make me totally competitive and jealous and confrontational and like want to one up people. And it was like, that's a positive pressure. That's positive negativity in a way. It's that tension, and it drove all of us. And it drives you to be an asshole to people. It drives you to be insecure. If you're like that, I was like that. Obviously, I mean, part of my name was made on like calling bullshit and calling people out on. I mean, whatever. Um, sometimes you take things too far, and you fucking drink your ass off, and you really do some dumb shit. Definitely did that a number of times in my late 20s, early 30s. But point being, being removed from that, I'm obviously a lot more sympathetic to it now because it was hard for me at various points. Dealing A with mistakes you've made, or B, seeing other people go through it who maybe didn't have the confidence that I did, and who like fully left the table, like walked, because the money ran out and they didn't have the day job like I do, and they did. Um, I couldn't give you a stream without the fuck. Come on, we got her. She's back. It's getting bigger. It's not going to stop. I'm going full on, all fall, all winter. So it sounds like this is working, which is great because I can do this in like 5 minutes, be up and down, and I'm the only reason I'm continuing to go on and not just like stopping this and watching it is I also want to see how long it takes to upload, transcode, whatever happens to it. Um, yeah, it's weird though. The angle is super freaking tight. Like it goes down so fast. Um, Weird. Anyway, looking good. Yeah, trying to. Um, that's a whole other thing. Audio is consistently good. Yeah, great. I mean, if I can get away with the stupid app, pods, I will. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can lower it a little bit. We'll figure that out. Wow, that's annoying. Bring it in. Okay, so anyway, anybody who came on here, thanks. We load tested it too. What do we got here? 62. 62. Okay. I'm probably not going to leave this up. I'm probably going to delete this. Am I going to add custom emotes to the chat? Oh, cool. I'm glad you're my age and following since it started. I'm a little older than you, but thank you, Drawla. Yeah, it's also hard to know. That's the thing, though, right? Like, if you don't want to participate in social media and you don't want to fucking subject yourself to all this angst and hand wringing and pearl clutching and bullshit, you sort of start to lose touch with who the fuck even knows who you are. And like, what if those people are feeling like you and they don't want to be subjected to this crap anymore and constantly feeding the beast and following and scrolling through Twitter and just all this overload, like, so I wouldn't hear from them anymore, but they might be still completely invested in, any kind of casual thing like this or writing or whatever. I am thinking about a writing project too. I don't want to get too much going. I have a bunch of projects in the air right now I want to finish, and two of them are significant financial investments. So I have to make sure I'm available to make sure that they're completed appropriately. But when those come out, they'll circulate, and I'm really proud of both of them and really excited to get them out there. They're not going to be available widely or in big editions, and I don't think necessarily they're even going to be digitally available. Maybe, but yeah, I'm focused on that right now. And I hope I can get that stuff done, like I say. But yeah, the writing project is not a music writing project. It's something else. And again, we'll see. I don't want to talk about things I'm not going to do. So yeah, this looks like the way forward, which is great. Obviously, it'll be super easy to do this in the house and in the basement and stuff. Um, this is honestly, I think, the 12th comment about the shed. Um, what's up with the Lautréamont Maldoror person? Like we've got a big decadent French fan. But so the story of the shed is I worked 6 or 7 years ago. I worked down the street from a place that sold sheds and they went out of business. So when they were going out of business, they were selling their demo units, which are always the best constructed. Pro tip when you get into these sort of life decisions. Anything that's out there on the lot is going to have been built as well as it can be built to impress people. So when they were selling the floor models for like half off, I was like, because I don't have a garage. We have a relatively small house. Um, in a really nice town. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downselling my my accomplishments, but yeah, the shed is. We could go another hour on the shed. I mean, I got and it's streaming mobile now, so I could probably walk over there. Yeah, I'm not doing mobile walk around fucking loser live streamer shit. Hey guys, I'm in the airport. What's up? Um, anyway, yeah, but yeah, it's cottage core for sure. Dad's going in the shed again with the laptop for real. When I went in the basement, that's about the scenario. Because it will, and the other thing is, when I was going in the basement to do the streams during the start of COVID, they were playing Animal Crossing the whole time. So it was like, it was a pretty good dual threat. Yeah, I just cut the lawn. The backyard is a mess, though. I have a stupid maple tree. You can see right there in the middle of it. Those things suck. The roots stay high and they kill the grass. So I'm probably going to get the tree taken out. We'll see. We should talk though. Lawn care tips. I got a lot of lawn care tips. This is a good time of year because murders of crows and grackle will come through and they basically aerate the lawn for you. So pro tip, get yourself some old bread. Like if you're doing the sourdough craze with COVID, which I'm not, um, I'll cross post this to Insta, don't worry. But you get yourself some bread and you sprinkle that all over your lawn and that'll attract the crows and the grackles. And then they'll, dig in the dirt for the grubs and that'll aerate your lawn naturally. So, these are things you got to think about. This is, there's a big thing on this in England right now, renaturalizing, your lands, bringing in, I might, who knows? I could get some chickens out here and shit. But anyway. Yeah, I don't really have much else. So the next thing I will, now that this works, which is great, imagine being a homeowner. Yeah, it wasn't easy, trust me. I mean, I was totally flat broke for the first 10 years of owning a home. Flat broke, house poor. But, if you're in a position to be house poor, you got to do it because it's the only shot you have in probably the world, but certainly in America. It's a lot less feasible in other places, though. Like the idea of owning a home in England is just nuts. But if you can be poor because you're going to get equity out of it on the other side, and that you're not going to get anything out of renting. It sucks. It's hard. It's really hard. Total goth dad. Yeah, wait till I get the scarecrow stuff going, like the fall fits. It's going to be sick. Um. Anyway, so yeah. The next vid should be real. Like I'll do definitely IDM. The jam band thing is, I don't know. I've thought about it. It's just like, I don't know if I could fill, but again, now that we can do the mobile thing, it's like, I don't need to be out here for an hour and a half or whatever. And I don't know. It's weird. GF says that chickens are decent for fertilization, but scratch up the place. They do. They really do. I got to do jam stream. Okay, I'll do the jam stream. It's fine. We can talk about all that crap. I mean, basically, the jam stream will be. It will not be. The jam stream will mostly be about going to rich liberal arts college. Like that's what it would really be about, because that's what it is. I mean, that's what it was. So I could definitely. I could definitely flesh it out a little bit, because I talked about all like the, being a gothy, grungy combo kid. I'll post a picture of my high school yearbook photo I found in the fucking community. It is literally like I'm wearing a goth wrapper around a grunge shirt. It's fantastic. It's so good. Anyway, um, I was into the music thing, and I was into underground obscure music, and the kind of escapism that's twinned with that is definitely a thing. Um, and so the jam band thing is more like just face on, not apologizing for your privilege in life. And those kids did not apologize for it at all. I mean, point of fact, the number one accessory was like a $1,300 DAT recorder with 2 stereo condenser mics that these kids would carry around. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars of DATs recording Fish shows. Jesus Christ. I don't know about the Discord. I'm not on the Discord. Joe and other people who've been in the chat here started a Discord after I deleted it, and I'm not on it, and I'm not on Discord, and I don't, whatever they're doing, awesome. So like, if you, I mean, like, totally, the streams are a pretty good way to filter, for who should or shouldn't be in your Discord, I guess. But I'm not in there. Do I like Silkworm? No. So Silkworm were part of the Mission of Burma reunion in 2002 and 1 and 2, and with Mike Watt and some others, and I've just never liked them. I have friends who live and die for that Orange record, but I just sort of like Blonde Redhead or Unwound. These are bands that they had a good big name in the broad, college 20 something indie rock thing. Like Silkworm were doing okay, with the Matador period for a little bit, but just none of the music ever grabbed me. And I mean, all 3 of those bands are bands that I spent so many times. So many times I've tried to go back and just be like, are they really? They're, people still talk about these records. Like they're still, Unwound gets brought up all the time. Maybe not Blonde Redhead so much anymore, but or Silkworm really. But I was in bands with people who were like obsessed with Silkworm, and yet still, and it would be on like while we were partying or whatever, and I just was like, it's just like the sound of guitar bass drums. Like it doesn't have enough. Vern. Oh, right, right. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. He just passed away. That's right. Um, yeah, I think that was not a shock to a lot of people. But yeah, it's rough. Rough. Yeah, Leaves Will Turn You Inside Out or whatever it's called. Leaves Will Turn Inside Out. Record was massive. But there are a lot of overlooked things from that period. I was talking to somebody the other night, and they had heard of Link, that Link record in '94, and I was like, yes, that was so big in my like indie college world. Like Link, Team Dresch, like all that stuff was super big. And then I realized like Team Dresch had done this reunion record, and I never talked about it because it was actually really fucking good. But yeah, that Link record was so at the time. Now you say it's okay. Yeah, if you listen to it now, okay. But at the time, there wasn't a lot like that. Um, and that, maybe I don't address that well enough in the 92, 93 sort of period, the streams I did, but um, harder, darker stuff. Link Walks So Unwound could run. That's a very good way to look at it, I suppose. Um, did I see Seam? Yeah, I saw Seam. I only saw Seam once. They didn't play much. They didn't tour much. It's like Liz Phair. Like Liz Phair only played 10 shows. Like no one saw Liz Phair live. And she didn't really have a show or, a show together. It was like Brad Wood, I think, was drumming for her. But yeah, Seam didn't play. I mean, they're college bands. All these bands were college bands. They didn't like go on tour. They were like, screwing around in the summer most of the time. Yeah, I saw Rollins at Lollapalooza, 100%. Yep. Um, Link is getting revved because of the Modest Mouse documentary. That makes sense. Okay, because I didn't like Modest Mouse. I would never watch that documentary. I have no interest in any further deification of Isaac. Um, but yeah. Oh, it's a Pitchfork doc. Oh, I don't know. Certainly, I double don't know. Um, Girls Against Boys were pretty dark college bands. Nah, Girls Against Boys was just like a. It was. They were like. I mean, the Jannies were always kind of like actors in a way. They were like more than musicians in their thinking. They were very like deep, obviously raised. I should say it's obvious. My impression is they were raised in a very artistically minded, way. And so that's cool for them. Anyway, so I think, what do we get to? 75? Did we get to 100 on the stream? That's not bad. No, we topped out at, I think, 80. Last time it was 80-ish too. It was like 80 or 85 or something, right? So that's not bad, man. That's a fun time. And I think, like the fall, I'll definitely look to be doing these pretty much, I would say, weekly. Like I'll try and do one of these. I think Sundays, or if it's Saturdays or Sundays, in the afternoon like this, these are ideal times for me, because generally speaking, the kids are out doing something and they're not going to be mortified that dad is like streaming on the internet. And the lighting out here is just, it's free. Like, you want to be outdoors. It's free lighting. Like, I don't want to set up shit in the basement again. I mean, that is, even with the mobile, it would be such a pain in the butt. Um, I saw a repress of Rodan for $10 the other day. Yeah, you need to get that. You need to get on that. I mean, it's not, I don't, half the record is kind of, so there were like 5 different bands all at once there. You had Sonora Pine and not Chisel. Was Chisel involved in it? Anyway, Rodan and what becomes Rachel's, and it's just the whole Louisville thing. But Rodan's Rusty. You have your big post rock song, Everyday World of Bodies. You have, or no, you have Bible Silver Corner, your big post rock drone. Then you have Everyday World of Bodies, which I've said before is like Jane's Addiction's 3 Days. It's like this, Bohemian Rhapsody, indie screamo opera. And then you have your pop song and Shiner. And those 3 that's pretty much it. The back half of that record is like, it's just like middling, faster than Slint, whatever. I don't even know. But they were such a rad band. And I mean, like I've said before, every dude totally had a crush on TJO, and like, but then it was rad that she like kind of went a little, I mean, she had pretty dramatic stuff going on in her life. And it was just kind of rad that she went and did that second Sonora Pine record and like didn't give up on it. Like, and really came through with that. Yeah. Half Cocked was awesome. Whoa. I just pressed a button on this stupid AirPod. If it turned off the mic, sorry. I'm almost done anyway. Do I have a favorite Dawn Cab record? Yeah, probably. I mean, ultimately, American Dawn. American Dawn's their like crowning glory. Dawn Cab 3 is great. What Burns Never Returns is great. I've posted jokes on Twitter years ago of me playing that beat, like. That's like one of your favorite beats as a drummer to try and play. But yeah, American Dawn's the one. I mean, even though it is a little bit heavy, but yeah, the Tour Diary was super fucking funny. Those dudes were funny. But yeah, then they became sort of not funny and it was lame. I mean, Damon Shea just like he did the thing that happens to a lot of these people. Like, think about, and it's funny too, because obviously I've said before, death grips are sort of the evolution of that. And it's Damon like started becoming a big asshole. Like, he got a big ego and started getting really fussy about shit. And it's like, you get sick of playing the same fucking clubs every time you go out, and the audience isn't getting any bigger, and the kids are getting more and more like, they're being ironic about it and treating you like, because you are an established name at this small level, right? But it's this time tested pattern of like, I just mentioned Mac DeMarco, like it's this same thing, and it happens to everybody. You get so sick of yourself and nothing changed. Like, look at Marnie Stern, right? She was able to land this gig on late night TV, and that was huge for her because she was in the same place. Like, you're getting written up in all these stupid fucking vampire advertising magazines that are like, you know, getting hits off you, but you're not selling a ton of records. And like, unless you came from a bunch of money, this is really frustrating, and you're not moving ahead and you're not getting bigger, and there's no real even path for you to sell out. And it gets tedious, man. It sucks. Cat Power, whatever, you know, Dawn Cab. I mean, the exceptions to these rules are the bands like the Super Chunks and the Guided by Voices that just keep doing their thing, and they don't get um, sort of sucked into these fucked up patterns that just they get everybody, man. Like, think of all those goddamn fucking emo bands, like the early 2000s, late 90s emo bands like Braid and fucking The Promise Ring and fucking the Get Up Kids. Like, it's the classic pattern of like 20 something college band that like starts to get a national name, and then they get totally full of shit, and then Braid releases like a huge 2 CD set of their compilation tracks and B-sides, like it's this momentous monolith at the end of this incredible career spanning like fucking 2.5 albums. It was so embarrassing how full of shit those guys were at the end, and like, and then Hey Mercedes wasn't any better with it. um it's just this pattern, man. It's just not you know, whatever. I just having seen it over and over and over again, you know. It was one of the reasons like I would not really stick around long with the bands that I played with, because it was like, we did it, we did a record, we played some shows. I'm not going to keep doing this for 3 years unless we can keep, you know, inspiring each other and feeding off each other to write good or better music each time. And you don't, generally speaking, that stuff gets regressive, and you start thinking like you sort of have a sound or whatever. And then everybody just kind of closes off a little bit, and it becomes more like pro forma. Um, and that stasis was always very apparent to me. And it's something that I just avoided and rejected. And then that's why, you know, I was like the asshole drummer that would break up all my bands. Um, anyway, so yeah, that was successful test, and I had the laptop streaming it while doing it the whole time. It's on a lag, but like that's important because I can't see the chat. I'm using the back camera. Um, so we should be good to go. So now I got to start, you know, putting together some polls for IDM. That's going to be tough, man, because like IDM is such a weird reaction to so many different things at once. Like, god damn. That will be similar to the pop punk one. Like, that was, I spent like the first, I think I said it in that video, like the first half of the 90s was all about like pop punk, and like then pop punk becoming sort of like an antidote to like self-serious post rock and indie rock, and like also an antidote to mainstream shit. And then it became sort of, there was like a little bit of a twee thing injected into the punk rock stuff, and then the you know, heavy political correctness came in, and then, you know, but then all that stuff just got so over, it just ate itself alive by about 95. And that's when, you know, I looked for something else, and that's when IDM was really, really exploding. Like, Aphex Twin had been on MTV with On, that was like 93. So I mean, I was, you know, we were hearing it, but it was like there wasn't much of it. And then all of a sudden there were like a shitload of electronica records out there, and it was like tons of Pretenders, tons of bullshit, you know, like lame stream fucking awful corny studio, you know, sequencer shit. um but in a way that like sort of made the Aphex Twins of the world seem even more special, and you know, Boffo Wizards. This isn't a beautiful yard. The beautiful yard is the front yard. This is my shitty backyard. The work, I put in the work out front. Um, so, but I'm not going to stream out front when people driving by my fucking house see me staring into a fucking iPhone. It's bad enough thinking my neighbor behind me is seeing this shit. Um, but yeah, good point, right? Any yard is beautiful. It's a rare thing having a yard at this point. But you know, look, I mean, look, guys, I'm a lot older than you. I mean, you don't think like this seems so alien if you're in your 20s, but like when you start to get into your mid 30s, you're like, oh, wait a minute. And you'll make the changes that I made. You will. And you'll end up in a decent position. Like, trust me, if you're sharp enough to care about the kind of things that we talk about, and you read the kind of books and things, and you're as intellectually curious as most of the people that were ever in the Discord are, like, you're going to figure it out. You'll be fine. But anyway, what was I going to say? Am I talking about oval? Yeah, of course I'm going to talk about oval or oval. Yeah, Marcus and Mouse on Mars and a million. I mean, dude, I have all this shit. I mean, it's the stuff I have, the amount of money I could make on Discog. I am selling some stuff on Discogs that I just don't give a shit about, like, all the Bill Laswell stuff that I whatever. But like, pole gas, all that shit. Yeah, I've got all that stuff. Actually, I'm selling the gas CD because you can get like $80 for that, the pink and yellow one. So I have no interest in keeping that. I mean, I have it in lossless. Do Wild blew everyone's minds. It was nuts. So we'll get into that. I mean, I'm gonna pull all of it, so it'll just be stacks of fucking CDs and records and shit. Black Dog, I have like almost the entire Black Dog discography, which is like Square Pusher, actually very disappointing. Because the first one with Yago was like by far the coolest. His like early artificial intelligence shit for me was the best. And then he went all over the place. But then, yeah, eventually you start doing, he has the collab, Babylon, right? What the hell's it called? That single was monster. Anyway, we'll get all that. And all my music, Gary Moshalley's, I think I have that on vinyl. We never listen to that. That record's not good. So yeah, I'm gonna go probably watch a little NFL football before it gets canceled. How much do I hate Tim and Eric? A lot. I think that the one guy is worse than the other guy. The Beardo guy is like my least favorite for, like extra entertainment reasons. The other guy, I don't really know much about him. He just seems like a UCB state type, hacky, funny face comedian. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just not. I really, everything that they do is so absolutely stupid to me. I don't get it. But whatever. Like I liked what it's hard to explain. Not necessary. All right, F you, Chris. Yeah, you're not gonna like the next stream if you're a big Boards of Canada fan. That much I can tell you. But I do have the scam. I do have a bunch of the scam shit. Like, what's that? What's that? Bola. What the hell's it called? Bola. BOLA. That one. The one that's like got Braille on it. Yeah, that and Touism. Yeah, I have Touism and all that shit. Yep. Touism's great. That's the one. In a Beautiful Place Out in the Country, that EP and Touism are both. I mean, the original Scam, the blue on blue Scam. I have that. That's Touism. That right. That's really good. And then they reissued it with the picture of the two like almost like Power Rangers, right? Anyway, yeah, I have a bunch. I mean, all this shit is just sitting in my basement. And again, the other thing you got to realize, like when I'm showing all this stuff, I didn't buy most of it. I was a fucking music critic, like by 99, like I was getting this shit for free. Like I didn't, it's people think like I'm some like secret, like rich guy and I was spending thousands of dollars. Like, no, dude. I mean, I was your typical like fake poor, upper class kid who went to a rich school. Like I was never at risk of anything. And I got a really good job and had really, profitable skills in technology. So, I made money fine. But like, when I was, a lot of this stuff I did buy on import, but just as much of it was sent to me for free. And I mean, stuff that's now like super rare and shit even was free because, I knew people. I worked in college radio too. And so those 4 years I was getting music shit for free. So that's just, my situation's not like everyone else's. I love Beat Happening. I have the complete Beat Happening. Oh, I don't have the box set though. Oh my God. What's it called? The Apple Tree box set or something? Shit, that's going for fucking shitloads of money. I don't need it. I have everything. I have the Screaming Trees. I have all of it. But like, that's going for silly money. I'd love to have that. I mean, having the Blur. Yeah, I did buy the Aphex Twin shit though, and like literally, I would not. I quit drinking for a month because I did the math, so I could buy some like more Aphex stuff when I went on the trip I talk about in that video. Like I quit drinking to save money for that trip, and then like buy Aphex shit when I was over there that you couldn't get here. Yeah, yeah, that was disease. Anyway, uh, My favorite shower remote. That was pretty real stuff. Yeah, that was a great one. It was fun. I mean, that one almost would have been better as a live stream, but it sort of almost is. I don't even know. Are there even really many edits in that? Because that was very much like this. Like it's all there. So I just was going off, and I had the CDs in front of me, which is that's all. That's all I need, and that's all I'll do for the IDM because that will go on for an era. Like it'll get dark when I'm doing the IDM one. I don't know. So no, it's not super responsible. It's silly. It's really dumb. But that is what I did. All right, got this. This is the only thing that wasn't sold out in the last Boot Boys. By the time I opened the email, at this point you can't get anything. Bit of column A, bit of column B. You are correct, Joe. All right, well I'm gonna stop this and see what happens. You guys in the community, you gotta post your fucking desire by U2 shirts. All right, if you did your homework and you shredded your fucking Desire by U2 shirts, you got to post that. Why couldn't Dan Treacy get it together? He had issues. I don't know. All right. Oh wait, how do I stop this? It's on the phone. I can't do it on. Oh, that's annoying. I don't know how to stop this. All right. Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, the chat shows up on the phone. So theoretically, I could no, because still have to use the selfie cam. This is a nice chair. The person I got it from was obscenely wealthy, and I got it for free when they passed away. It literally has like a brass plaque on it with their name. But as you can see, it's totally covered in bleach from me customizing my Desire U2 shirt. Yeah, so that I can't use the selfie cam. That would look so bad. So I'm gonna have to have the laptop. If I shut off all the internet devices, it's fine because it seems like the Wi-Fi can totally handle it now with all of it turned off and the mesh tune. So what was this? 62 minutes? That's not bad. And yeah, selfie cam would be as bad. Yeah, it's the same exactly. The selfie cam would be just like the laptop cam, which would suck. All right, so I think I press X. Boop boop. Are you sure you want to stop? Oh, but I can't even touch it.